Hello and welcome everybody to our budget saving tips and tricks that we're going to set with you today that we're really excited to bring to you. I know that things get tough out there and it's always great to be able to come up with new ways to be able to cook amazing food at a really good price and really fitting within your budget. So we're hoping that some of these things will help you today. We're going to do a few different recipes. Now, just so that you know, we will share the recipes with you. You need to make sure that you've registered, and you need to make sure that you've registered through the link. We'll also have the link on the page, and you will get those emailed to you on Monday. Okay, so you'll have everything you need ready to prep for next week and getting things done. We also, very excitingly today, have a Cook Expert to give away. So please make sure you're registered. It will be within the link as well. What an amazing thing if you haven't already purchased a Cook Expert. Can I ask a show of hands who does not yet own, but is looking today thinking this could be the day, would love to win one, would be amazing. Or if you already own one, why wouldn't you want two? Because honestly, this is the way to get baking. So lots of baking's been done here today. I'll just give everyone a couple more minutes just to jump on. But welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please let us know where you're joining us from. The girls are on the other end answering all of your questions as we go along as well. But sit back and relax and enjoy, because you're not cooking along with me today. I know that lots of you out there do cook along with us quite often on a Thursday night. We're not doing that tonight or today. It's 4 o'clock Sydney time. The weather is terrible. It's a great day to be inside baking. And, you know, I hope that you really get something out of today and that it gives you some new inspiration for some things that you want to cook at home, for some great money saving tips and tricks to be able to use in your home as well. So, should we get started? Let me tell you what I'm going to be making today. I'm going to start with a beef casserole that I've actually had cooking for 4 hours. Now, depending on the cut of meat that you use would depend on how long you would need to cook this. Now, today I've used a chuck steak, so it's taken, well, I've given it the extra hour, making it 4 hours. So anywhere between 3 and 4 hours, but it's great just to try it, just to test it, to see. 4 hours is amazing. Let me show you that in just a moment. We're also going to do a quick chicken stir fry. I don't know whether you all that are watching that own a Cook Expert have updated your machines. The best way to work that out is whether or not you have the stir fry mode on your machine. Stir fry allows you to go to 160 degrees as well, which is fabulous. That's what we want for stir fry. But I'm going to show you today how beautiful, quick and easy it is to do a stir fry. We're also going to do some scrolls. So have a little look here. These are my cheese and Vegemite scrolls. I'm hoping that you can all see these. These are an absolute winner in the household here. So this is cheese and Vegemite. I do cheese and bacon as well a lot. They are so easy. I'm going to show you very quickly and easily how you can whip those up yourself, and could even do them today. So have a pen and paper ready and I'll try to remember to give you the recipe. You can whip them up this weekend. We're also then going to do a beautiful quiche. Now, the idea of all these recipes is to be able to use up the things that are in your fridge, in your pantry, things that you've got that you don't need to go to the grocery store again. So even things like a quiche, it's the eggs, you can use bacon, you can use onion, you can just use some spring vegetables. It's completely up to you, but a really easy thing to put together. The scrolls, generally we all have Vegemite in the pantry, or we have bacon that needs to be used, and we've got cheese, so that's another really easy one. Today with the casserole, I've used potatoes, I've used carrots, onion, some celery and some mushrooms. So just things you've got to use, and that's really important that we start to throw less out and we have less wastage in the house. So I'm going to get going, or we're never going to get there. I could talk forever. You know that I can. Are you ready? So we're going to start with this beautiful beef casserole. Now, of course, I don't have over the top cameras. You know, we'll have to work on that. But I'm going to show you how amazing this is. Are you ready? So I've decided I'm going to serve this one on mash. But do you know what else I'm going to be doing with this one? I'm going to be making pies. And I'm going to be making pies, and I'm going to be using the leftover pastry from my quiche, okay? So there's always a little bit left over by the time you cut the quiche in to fit, and I'm going to use that to do the tops of my pies. So amazing. So let me just show you how beautiful, oh my gosh, it is. It looks amazing. And I hope that you can see that. Look at the steam coming out of that. The meat in here, like I said, I used a chuck steak. It is melt in your mouth. It is falling apart. It will make amazing pies. Now, I've actually used today our extra large bowl. Okay, now can you see that? Can you see how amazing that looks? I wish that you were all here to be able to try that, because I'm telling you now, it is delicious. But one of the things that I've done today is I've used the extra large bowl. Now, some of you might own the extra large bowl, and you also know with the extra large bowl it comes with the dough blade. Now, I didn't actually use the dough blade today when I made this, because most of this meal was made with the speed off, and that's the beauty of the Cook Expert, is that we can turn the speed off. But what I love about using the XL bowl is I've done a huge batch here. I've done 1.5 kilos of beef. Now, there's no way that my family is going to sit down and eat a whole 1.5 kilos of beef casserole in one go. So what I'm going to do with that is make pies. Use it for, adding to mashed potato. Use it in vol au vents if you want. There's so many ways that you can use this after, that it's a really great way of batch cooking. So the XL bowl is a 4.8 litre bowl with a 3.8 litre food capacity. So let me know if you've got one, because I'd love to know what else you do in there. I can even get lamb shanks in this one, so I love it. Now, of course, I'm not here to try to sell you an XL bowl, I promise you, but I just wanted you to know, because some of you are very clever out there, and you'll probably work out that the two bowls are a little bit different in height. But it's a great way to batch cook. It's a great way to save money. I'm always looking through the supermarket for the yellow sticker with the specials when meat needs to be used in the next couple of days. If you're not ready to use it, dice it up, pop it into the freezer and use it when you're ready. So it's a really great money saver. Okay, so have I made you hungry? Have I made you think, wow, what else is there that we can possibly do to save ourselves some money? So I'm going to move on, and I'm going to do a stir fry. Okay, now I'm just going to sit this aside. Give me one moment. Now, stir fries are a really great way to use the things that are in your pantry as well. Use the things that are in your fridge, whether it's chicken. Chicken's the cheapest protein at the moment to be actually buying to be doing your meals as well. So I think chicken, I noticed the other day, has gone up a little bit in price, cheeky devils, and can sometimes be a little bit tricky to get. But again, look it out for when it's on special. Pop it into the freezer. I have, lots in the freezer that is diced for casseroles, and then I've got lots that are cut into strips that are ready for stir fries. So again, it's super simple, super easy, stops on the takeaway. I know that when you have, kids' sport and even your own late nights at work or meetings and things like that, it's really nice to come home to still be able to eat a homemade meal. So a really good way to be organised. Now, what I love about the stir fry mode is that it is super quick, super easy, nice and fast. Hopefully I've got this machine all set up on my stir fry. Let me just check that. Oh, good, I was clever. Okay, so we've got the stir fry set up. Now, what I really love is the super speed of this. And what I generally tend to do is I start by cooking my onion just for a little bit. Sorry, I just realised I need olive oil. Okay, so I'm going to start by just doing my onions first. Now, what we love about Cook Expert is the induction heating. The fact that it gets so hot so quickly and that the heat is so precise. So over in this one, you'll see we've got a little timer going there, and I'm actually proving my bread. And I've proved it because I want to show you how amazing it comes out in just an hour of proving in there. Okay, so my stir fry. I'm all confused as to where all my ingredients are. So let's start with that. Okay, here they are. I've got things everywhere. So I've got my onion and my garlic that I've just chopped. Now, I don't chop the onion in here because I wanted some nice slices. So I didn't actually want to chop it as if I did with my casserole. Now I'm going to pop that on just for about a minute because I want to show you how quickly this gets going. So you'll see at the front here, we've gone to stir fry mode. It's going to do an automatic speed. It's going to run for 7 minutes, and it's also going to run at 160 degrees. Did I say that? Might have already. And the speed is automatic. Now, automatic means that it'll stir when it needs to, which is what you would do in a fry pan. So it gives you the opportunity for this to start to have that stir fry effect and for that to start really coming together. So I'm going to let that go just for about 30 seconds. I can't see the time, so we'll just have a little guess. Usually I can tell because if you watch, you can see that we've already got steam coming out of that and that we can hear that sizzle, and the sizzle is what we want as well. So I'm going to let that sizzle just for a minute. Generally, if I'm frying up onions, I will keep the cap off as well. And what I've done is I've just marinated my chicken already. Now, you can do this the night before, you can do this half an hour before, you can do it 5 minutes before. I do find obviously the more flavour is in there, the longer that we've got it marinating. And I basically use whatever is in my fridge to marinate. Okay, I'm going to stop that. Are you ready for the sizzle? Can you hear that? I hope you can hear that. So basically my marinade has got the following: soy sauce, oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, garlic, a little bit of honey, and I think that's it. Red wine, if you've got red wine. Red wine's a really nice one to add. Now listen to this sizzle as we add this. Oh, hear that? Okay, so we're going to get all that juice in as well because we want our delicious marinade in there. You can buy store-bought marinades, but again, when we're looking at cost cutting, say that quick 5 times. When we're looking at cost cutting, you need to use the things you've got. You need to use what's in your pantry. Don't go out and buying $5 and $6 and $7 marinade sauces when you've probably got everything that's in those sauces just about at home in your own fridge or pantry. So you can use anything. So anyone got some really good go-to marinades that they use? So I'm just going to let that go again. Now that's going to go on auto again for us, and it's going to stir every now and then, like I mentioned earlier. What I love is when you watch this stir, it actually stirs in a different, I don't know, it's weird to watch. It's not a 1A, it's not a 2A, it's just generally a stir fry mode. And what this also does, it stops breaking up all of the food in there. So your chicken won't be shredded up. The chicken that's in there is just cut into strips, and I have not used the dough blade at all. I've just used a normal blade. That is, and it's a shame you can't actually see this, but it's a good one to watch when you're actually doing it yourself. Have a look what's actually going on in there and the way that it stirs and comes together. So I'm going to add my veggies in a couple of minutes. I can't actually see. I might just add actually another minute or so to that because I'm just going to get that cooking away. Okay, so generally your stir fry will take, like I said, about 7 minutes. If you need to add a couple of minutes, then that's absolutely what you need to do. So we're going to be moving on and we're going to go into this. So this is going to take a few minutes to cook. I'm not putting my cap back on until I add my veggies in a minute. Actually, I might just wait and add my veggies or I'll get completely sidetracked and we'll have chicken stir fry, no vegetables. So we'll just give that a minute. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited to make beef pies tonight. I think they're just going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, so we'll give that, let that have one more stir, and then I'm going to add our veggies in there as well. Okay. So where are you all watching from and what's the weather like there? It is, as I mentioned, quite cloudy for us here. Let me just get that. Yep, we're stir frying away. Okay, I'm just going to give that another minute or two. I just need to check it though that I've left it on stir fry. It's hard when you can't see what's going on. Yeah, no, we're all good there. So I'll give that one more minute. That'll give us about 5 minutes for our veggies, which is what we want. Okay, so going on to our bread, and I can see this bread is just about to hit the top of my bowl. It has been proving for just under an hour, so literally less a minute and a half. Okay, now, proving bread and making bread is so easy and something I never would have done in my life, really, because it's the whole thought of kneading the bread and all of that I just think, nah, I'm not doing that. I'll just buy bread. It's so much easier. Now, since I've come across and been using the Cook Expert, I know that this is the way to do bread. So all I need to do is use the functions that are here for us. Now, I'm going to stop this because we don't need to keep going here because it's proved it's amazing. You wait. Okay, now I'm just going to show you. So I have cheated and I've got a little mirror on the other side of me, but I can't see that machine. I can only see this one. So I'm going to go into baking and we're going to go across to breads and brioches. Now, this is where I do my breads. Now, if you're doing small amounts of dough, so probably up to about 500 grams of flour, then you can use the normal blade in your machine, okay? So your normal blade that comes with your Cook Expert. If you're wanting to do larger quantities or you're using the large XL bowl, you really do need to use the dough hook. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, do I have one close by? Oh, I do actually, I've got one in here. So the dough hook is this one here. And hopefully you can see that, but it's only got the 2 hooks, not the 4, like our normal blade does. Now, the idea of that is that, oh, I'm balancing things everywhere here. The idea of that is that it allows you to have more quantity in there. So it gives it the machine easier opportunities. See, I told you I'd forget about my stir fry. Gives your machine a better opportunity to be able to do that stirring and to do a really good knead. Okay, so I'm just going to pop my veggies in that stir fry. Like so. Oh, now, budget saving. What vegetables do you put in stir fry? Whatever you have in the fridge. So today I've used broccoli. I always have broccoli, and the amount of broccoli I used to throw out, I have so stopped throwing out so many things. I've added some carrots, I've added some zucchinis, I've added some red capsicum. But these are also vegetables that I've used in other things today. So I've used my zucchinis, I'm going to do with my quiche. I've used red capsicum with my quiche. So when you're shopping, look at all the other things that you can actually, do with what it is that you're buying. So, okay, I've moved on, or I've forgotten where I was. I was probably talking about the bread. So doing our bread with the bread and brioche mode. So yes, the dough hook. So if you're using the dough hook, just for those larger quantities. I know that there are people out there that own the dough hook, and they also use it for things like risotto because it gives it that gentler stir. I don't necessarily do that all the time. I do sometimes, but it's really not, don't feel like I can't make risotto if I don't have it. You absolutely still can. But it's just an extra tool that will give you opportunities to do more things in your machine as well. Okay, so we're getting to our bread. Are you ready? The reveal. Is it touching the cap? No, it's not. Okay, so this, my friends, has been in here for, as you saw, just under an hour. Are you ready? So this is, you probably already see that. Look at that. Is that the most amazing dough that we've got there ready to make our beautiful scrolls with? Doesn't that just look absolutely amazing? That's been an hour and it took 2 minutes to stir it. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of the bread and brioche. I'm just going to pop this over here. I'm hoping to roll some scrolls and show you, a really easy way to do them as well. I just have to make some room, but we'll get there. Okay, so when we're going to be doing our bread. So we're going to pop that on there like that. Now, I do have a dough blade in here at the dough hook in here at the moment because I'm doing 750 grams of flour. So I'm doing that larger amount. Stick to 500 if you're doing, if you don't have a dough blade, absolutely. And the other thing is that I made 30 scrolls with this recipe this morning. So you can make them with cheese and Vegemite. You can make them with, I did some cheese and bacon. You can do pizza sauce and cheese. There's so many things you can do with scrolls. You can do lots of things. So, really, test yourself out with that. So all I do, now this is my really simple recipe. I'm going to give it to you now because if you want to bake over the weekend and you've got a cook expert and you're thinking, right, I'm doing these, because can I just tell you that not only do these look delicious, they actually are delicious. They are so soft and ready to go. There is a line up at the door, let me tell you. My children were devastated they couldn't have them for breakfast this morning, but that's just the way that it goes. So I'll give you my version of just one batch. Okay, so 250 grams of flour. Now I use the Lighthouse bread and pizza flour. Okay, so you've just got to use a good quality 00 flour. Okay, ready? 1 teaspoon of yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I also use a teaspoon of bread improver. So bread improver is in a little white box. I think it's got a wallaby on it. I think it actually says wallaby on it. And it's in your bread aisle at the supermarket. Now it just means for me that it gives that little bit of extra softness and a bit of longevity in your bread as well. So it's a really good one to be able to use. So 250 grams of flour and then a teaspoon each of salt, yeast and bread improver. If you want to do 500 grams, double everything. It's that simple. 150 mils of water per 250 grams of flour. Now, when we talk about that, I also say sometimes it doesn't take quite as much water as other days. And I think it depends on the weather. I don't really know. I don't have an answer. But I do know that sometimes it feels like it's a little bit different. So I'm just going to go, oh no, I don't need to do that. I've got it here, didn't I? Already got it up. So I've got my bread and brioche. It's going to do 2 minutes. It's going to do speed 5 to start and no heat. Now, the reason it starts on speed 5 is because it's going to just do the mixing process. So I add my water as I go. I don't add my water straight away. I do it as we go because I want to be able to see exactly when there's enough water on my dough. Now, generally you can tell when it starts to form, it starts to really come together, and you can really see that. I'm really sorry that you can't see that now. Oh, my stir fry smells amazing. Okay, so I can still see that there's quite a bit of flour not quite come together. And you know what, if you muck your dough up and you put too much water in it, just add some extra flour, run the process again. It's not a lost cause. You don't need to throw it out and start all over. Now, after the first minute, this will stop. That will give you the opportunity just to see if you need to scrape down the sides. I generally find I never need to scrape the sides down when I'm making dough. It all generally comes together beautifully, and I don't have to do that. So that's all coming together. And we'll wait till that minute's up, and I'm just going to give it a quick check. Now, the difference too is before bread's actually been kneaded, it's quite rough to feel. You know that it's been kneaded well when it's quite smooth to feel. So if you need to repeat the process, so I could probably do with slightly more water in that. And you can generally feel it. If it's sticking to your hands like glue, then you've put too much water in it. Okay, so now the machine's getting faster. I'm just going to add a little bit more water to mix that up. But like I said, if at the end your dough's not really smooth, just give it another couple of minutes in here. There also is the XL dough blade one that goes, I think it's 4 minutes that it runs for, that you can use, but I'm just doing a quick one today to be able to show you this. Okay, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff while that goes, because I want to be able to do the rolling. Because I think it's a really good one to show you how actually easy it is to roll your own dough and to not be afraid of that. So I'll let that finish running. Certainly no studio, is it? Okay. I'm going to move him across a little bit. Hopefully you can still see that, and I'll grab my mat. I'm going to show you these two today. I'm not going to show you how I made them. I'm going to tell you how I made them, and they are amazing. Oh, I wonder what time the cleaner arrives today. Okay, here we go. We've got our mat out. Now, before I do that, should I quickly show you that that stir fry is done? Let me just check it. Oh, it looks so amazing. Like, it looks so good. So quick, so healthy. Now, what I love about things like a stir fry is this is a really good one for lunches. So you've got leftovers, you're going to do your groceries on a Sunday, you've got leftovers from the week, use them up, make things like this. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely perfect. This is certainly not the correct thing to be serving it with. You know, you can't remember everything. But I'm going to serve this. Now, I would serve this as is. I wouldn't actually add rice, but that's just me. But, of course, you can add your rice to the bottom of that. But it's got everything, and it smells delicious, I have to say. It's got absolutely everything in there that's going to keep you going for your week ahead at work. Okay, so that's our stir fry. So have a look at that. Looks amazing, smells amazing, will taste amazing. I would love to eat it in front of you all. That would be cruel. And that is another one that we've done, and we've just used what's in the fridge. Okay, so great one for being able to take to work for your lunches, to be able to do all those things as well. So let me just get out of the way, and then I'll get my dough out to show you. Okay. Now, I'm not going to roll all the dough because I don't want to bore you, because you'll be here for a while. I'm running out of room. Let's just get rid of this, honestly. Okay. Next house, we'll have this massively long kitchen with this massively long bench, and you'll be able to see everything. Okay, so I'm going to get out that dough. Now, like I said, this morning I did exactly the same amount, and I managed to get 30 scrolls out of it, okay? Now, I made some really big and some a little bit smaller, but these are great for lunch boxes. These are great, you know, my children are not the best breakfast eaters, and they get bored really quickly. So they're even really good, easy ones just to throw in for them to eat on the way to school or on the way to work, or, you know, wherever they're heading for the day, to be able to do that. And you know that they're still eating. They're also great for school lunch boxes. They're great to freeze. So if you wanted to freeze them, you can absolutely do that as well. So they're really ideal to be able to pop into the fridge. And you know what? Nothing worse than throwing out things like bacon. Again, bacon's expensive. Use it up. You know, cook it up, let it freeze. Yeah, freeze. So if I haven't got time to make them, I'll just actually dice it up and pop it into the freezer for when I am ready. So lots of ways to be able to save. So let's stop throwing things out, shall we? Okay, are we ready? So I've just got a mat down here. Now, ideally I wouldn't have two machines either side of me in my wing space, but you know what? You've got to do what you've got to do. Okay, so I just roll out my dough. Nice and simply like that. Now, I don't want it too thick, and I want to get it as rectangle as possible, okay? So it's fairly even this way and this way, okay? You see how easy this is? I'm not even sweating yet. Let me give myself a little bit more room. Now, I'm going to do some cheese and Vegemite. The best way to do cheese and Vegemite scrolls is with a squeezy bottle. Okay. I've tried doing it from the jar. It's okay, but I've found that I've had to microwave bits, like, you know, a scoop of it in a little bowl to be able to get it to spread. So I've just been using the squeezy one, and I just keep it in the pantry and it's ready to go. Okay. I think that should be enough. Now, I've got my trick just there. Okay, are you ready? This is so easy. So we're just going to spread Vegemite, and as much or as little as you like. Oh, you could do like Nutella scrolls, or so many options. Okay, and then I will just spread that with my spatula across my bread, my dough. But this is just so easy. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I always make sure every little inch is covered. I'm a shocker. But anyway, moving on. Get that. But look how simple this is. Look how quick and easy you can do these sorts of things in your household for your family. And it's a really great way, like I said, to use what's in the cupboard. If we look at, and we'll talk about the cost of all these things later, a little bit later, but we worked out that making these scrolls, so I worked it out on getting 24 scrolls out of it. Today I got 30. But if you did 24 scrolls is going to cost us approximately, this is with Vegemite and cheese, I think we worked out it was $3.85, okay, for 24 scrolls. Oh, there's always that one fly. Do you know that a 6-pack of scrolls from the bakery is about $7 or $8? A 6-pack, or a 4-pack even. It could even be a 4-pack. And to buy them individually is nearly $4. So have a think about what you've just saved by making these yourself. Also, how simple they were. They weren't tricky. I did them in front of you. You saw, you know, how easy it is to proof that dough. I didn't do anything else to that dough after I'd put it through its 2-minute cycle, which I can show you in just a minute. Okay, and we're just going to spread cheese like so across there like that. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this up long ways. These are so simple. Please, do you want me to give you the recipe again? I know that you could say no, you could say yes, and I can't see that, but I'll give it to you anyway. One basic lot, so to make about, I don't know, 10 scrolls, you're going to do 250 grams of your Lighthouse pizza and bread flour, or just a good double O flour. 1 teaspoon each of salt, yeast, and your, what did I call it? Bread improver, that's the one, of that as well. And then about 150 mils of water. If you want to double it, just double everything. It's that simple. Run the bread and brioche program for 2 minutes. Pop it into the machine on 35 degrees on Expert for an hour with no speed, okay? No speed. It won't work if you're speeding. Okay, so no speed on there, and we're going to pop that in there to rise for an hour. Okay, once that's done, you saw what I did. I pulled out the dough, and I've just, like I said, I didn't pull it all out because I did a big batch, but I've pulled out the dough and I've rolled it like so. So can you all, hopefully you can all see that. I'll get rid of that. Now, because I'm not a fisherman, I had to use something else. So the easiest way to cut these is fishing wire. I'm not a fisherman, I don't own a fishing rod, and couldn't buy it at the supermarket. I tried. So we have dental floss. Now, if you're going to use dental floss, please don't use minted dental floss, okay? It has to be straight waxed, no mint, no flavouring, no whitening, no fluoride treatments, nothing, just plain old. Right, you get my drift. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this end and I'm going to put my string underneath. Are you ready? It gets really tricky from here. Pull up, cross and down. Now, that's cut that part for me, but I'm going to need to cut my actual dough. Are you ready? Because it was tricky. Are you ready? Up, cross, and down. That's it. Okay, now let me show you what happens when we do that. We've got scrolls. Now these little scrolls, I then want you to pop onto a baking tray with some baking paper. Leave them to sit for about another 30 minutes if you can. If you don't have time, it's okay. You can, go ahead with it. It's fine. But I'm telling you, just give them that extra 30 minutes and it gives them a nice big puff. And this is what you get. So let's have a look at these. To that. Look at that. You need to try these. You need to try them with anything. If you've tried these, I want to know. I want to know what other ingredients you use in them as well. Now, I could sit here and cut all of these, but I'm going to bore you. So I'm going to pop them over here. And I'm going to have scrolls coming out of my scrolls by the end of today. But that's okay, because there are plenty of people waiting to eat these. Okay, now, the dough that I made, that we talked about, I just wanted to show you what I mean, how it forms basically the ball there. And that dough is ready to go. So we've got that there, ready to go for another batch of scrolls. So that'll be 3 batches of scrolls that I would have made by the end of today. So I'm going to have to come up with some different flavours, I think. So I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to get on to our last one. Now, what have we done? 30 minutes. It's amazing what you can do. Okay. Now, the next one I want to do that I find is a really good money saver. I find that it's a really great standby for breakfasts. It's a great standby for lunches. It's a great standby for dinners. You can have quiche and salad for lunch or dinner. You can have quiche on the run in the car or, for the kids in the bus or, wherever they're going. And it's a really great standby. It's something that you can even pop into the freezer. So I have started from scratch doing my own dough because I think that's the best way to make these. So it's just a short crust pastry and it is so, so easy to do. So not only did I then do, hang on, I've forgotten my bottom bit. Jeez, I tell you. Not only do I do my my pastry for this, but I also had a little bit extra left over, which I'm going to use to do my pies as well. So it gives you that beautiful pastry. Look at this beautiful pastry on the side. That is really easy to do. So again, pastry is not something that I would have normally done. I would have bought it. It's so much easier. This is so cheap to do. So if you're buying a box of flour, like if I use the one that I said that I use, is I think $3.85 for a kilo. Now I can do 4 crusts out of that. Okay, so that's going to give me quite a lot for that $3.85. And then I'm just adding butter, some salt and some water. So it's nice and simple. So I'm just going to get that up here and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And there are no tricks. It is super simple. Okay, so I'm just going to move my chips out of the way, which I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, now I'm going to add my flour. Oops. Oh, I'm such a mess, aren't I? I already know that. Okay, I'm going to also add in there the butter. So it's 125 grams of butter. Now, this is a recipe that's on our app and in our cookbook as well. So it is an easy one to do. And I think that, I don't know whether the baguettes are on there, but we'll make sure we get them on there. But you've seen them now. Okay, and we're going to add 80 mils of water, and that's absolutely it. Now, when we pop this on, you'll see that it magically goes, once we get this in, changes to food processor. So we like that. I can do that backwards, so it's nice and easy. So now all I need to do is hit start, auto. Now, you know it's ready when basically it does this. Oh, which way? Can I see? Yeah, like that. See how it's all formed together? you basically know it's ready from there. And that is how easy it is to do. There's no tricks to that. All I would do from here, and I'll just pop this aside. Oh my gosh, I'm in such a mess. All I would do from here is grab a little bit of, just like a Glad wrap, cling film, whatever you want to call it. No advertisements here. Pop that there. Pull out our blade. Pull out our dough. And then I would pop that into the fridge, just like that, for about half an hour. Just let it get a little bit firm. So we're just going to, I haven't done that very well, have I? Now, my trick to this too is when you do it, flatten it just a little, because that way it makes it just that little bit easier when you're ready to roll, that it softens a bit quicker rather than being in a really tight little ball. Okay, so what are we going to put inside our quiche? That's the other thing we love to be able to use our food processor for. So I have got one here ready to go. And I'm going to start by using our food processor. So I want to start by actually doing some cutting, and I'm going to cut my cheese because cheese is something that I will definitely add into my quiche. Now I love to use the midi bowl, and then I'll use the large bowl when I'm ready to do all of the extra parts to this, okay? So this is where you don't need to keep washing up, you can just keep moving on with the recipe. So we're going to pop on our lid. I'm going to pop on that one there. We're going to add some cheese. And we're just going to grate that really quickly. You cannot do that by hand that quickly. Now you can even use the same blade if we like. So I'm going to set the cheese aside. Okay, and I'm going to move on. So I'm going to get a blade. Well, that's the same one I used, doesn't matter. It's no big deal at all. Okay, and I'm going to throw in just some onion. And I just realised I'm going to need eggs, which of course I forgot in the fridge. So we've got eggs. Lucky the fridge is just behind me, huh? Okay, so what I love about this here is that the blade is so close to the bottom of the bowl. So it's literally a millimetre. So when we're actually doing our chopping, it's going to get all of this onion and give it a nice good chop. Really great way to do things like garlic butter, a couple of cloves of garlic, a little bit of butter, and then some parsley and then some butter. It makes it perfectly. Now I'm just going to pulse this. Now I don't want big chunks of onion. And I'm not going to have big chunks of onion. Nope. I've lost my spatula, so I'm going to have to go into the drawer and just get what I get. Okay, so we're going to scrape that down. Now, if you want to rerun that, absolutely you can. I am going to just for 1 second because there was just that one little bit. Okay, beautiful. Now, we've done that. The next thing I want to do is and this is what I love about quiche, you can do it all in one bowl. I'm going to pull out my blade and I'm going to pop in I'm just going to leave the 4mm blade there that I use for cheese because I don't want to wash anything else up. And we're going to pop that in there, and then I'm going to grab some carrot and zucchini. Use whatever is in your fridge. So whatever you want to put in a quiche will take anything. So whether it's bacon, whether it's just some spring vegetables, but we're just going to get some of those in there and done. I knew that would be too big, so we're leaving you out. Oh no, I'll just use the excess. I always have little pieces of zucchini left in my fridge because I'm the only one that eats it. So if I'm cooking veggies and I add zucchini in my steaming, I always have bits anyway. So it's a perfect way for me to use all those bits. Now, there's a few chunks in there. I don't care. I'm leaving them in there because then all I'm going to do is add my eggs straight into my bowl, and I'm going to pop that blade back in. And this is the great thing. Just give it a little shimmy and you've got the blade back in. And we're going to pop in some eggs like so. This is just so simple, and it just means we don't have a whole lot of washing up to do at the end. Okay, that's that. We've got our cream and milk. We're going to pop in there as well. Again, I always seem to have that little bit of cream that doesn't all get used from a potato bake, or that little bit of cream that doesn't get used from a dessert or something. So it's always good to use those up. And they go off so quickly once they're open. So we're just going to go a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And we're going to give that a little pulse. Lock it in, lock it on, and we'll just put that. And voila, we are completely done. So I do have a base, and this is what they look like. So before I pour my egg mixture in, so I'm going to pour that in just a moment and pop it into the oven. And we've got another fantastic money-saving idea for you in your kitchen. I then, just like this one here, I just added a little bit of capsicum to the top before I baked it. You can add cherry tomatoes if you've got cherry tomatoes to use. Anything that you've got in the fridge, don't let it go to waste. Get it into something like this. So that is I think, four really good recipes for you to be able to give a go. We will send those recipes out to you on Monday, so you'll have all of these delicious recipes. But give some of them a try. You know, I've given you the ingredients for those scrolls. Do the scrolls, send in your photos. We'd love to see them as well. But I want to show you these ones. So these ones are now my world famous potato chips. So I tried using the oven. I tried the air fryer. I tried everything. 1 millimeter slicing disc. Okay, so we do have a 1 millimeter. 2 millimeters too thick, it doesn't work. And then all I do is I get a plate covered with baking paper. I line them up, not on top of each other, just individually, and pop them into the microwave. Now my microwave takes 4.5 minutes, and this is what you get. Now let me just show you what you get. Are you ready? Can you hear that? That is from the microwave. That is from slicing in here into the midi bowl with that 1 millimeter slicer. A little bit of oil on them before you pop them into the microwave, just a tiny, not a lot. And then I just add a little bit of Himalayan rock salt. Amazing. They are so good. They are so crunchy. They are a winner, and they are so cheap. This whole bowl here was 1 potato. 1 potato. I got a whole bowl of chips. Do you know how much a packet of these kind of chips are now at the supermarket? They're like $8. Stop buying them. Make your own. They're amazing. Sweet potato, beetroot, so many things. Zucchini, so many things you can do. I could go on. But what I wanted to say is lots of things that you can do to help you save money. So I know I said about 45 minutes and I'm almost bang on. So there you go. But you can see all of these delicious things that we've made today. We've done our beautiful beef casserole, which I'm going to use for leftovers. I'm going to use to add to pies. I'm going to use for vol au vents. Lots of things you can use for. We then went on and did our beautiful chicken stir fry using all those vegetables in the fridge, using chicken, which is the cheapest protein to purchase at the moment. And then you've got a week's worth of stir fries for lunch during the week. We then did some beautiful scrolls with our cheese and Vegemite. Like I said, you can do any flavour. They cost about 27 cents a scroll compared to about $4 in a bakery. So I think you're definitely winning just on that one. And then, of course, we did our delicious quiche, which I know to buy a nice quiche is about $15 to $20. This one cost us nowhere near that amount of money to actually bake. So by the time you do your crust and everything your own, using everything from the fridge, it's such a cheaper option than buying. And they look amazing and they're beautiful and they taste fantastic. The other thing that I talk about is things like when you've got berries in the fridge. I used to be the worst for this. Day 3, they'd been in the fridge, they weren't looking great, and I'd be like, oh, they're going to end up, and then I'd forget about them, they'd end up in the bin. Pop them into a freezer bag or a freezer container, pop them into your freezer, use them for smoothies, use them for pear and raspberry breads, one of my favourite things to do at the moment, use them in muffins. The other thing I've started doing is freezing spinach leaves. I used to throw out spinach leaves like there's no tomorrow. Again, freezer bag or freezer container, throw them in your smoothies. Don't get icked about that because you won't even notice that it's there and it's giving you that extra boost in the morning with those beautiful greens. So there's so many things we can do. We put together all of this today and we worked out that it cost us about $7 per serve, okay? So that might have been 24 serves of this, but if we break it down to one, however many serves for your quiche we took, I think we looked at 6 or 8. But when we broke it all down, it cost about $7 for you to have a serve of every single one of the 4 things we made today. If you were to do that, purchase it from the supermarket for just 1 serve. So we're not talking about, the whole meal, just 1 serve. $28 is what it cost us at the supermarket for 1 serve of everything. So when we worked that out, if you did that over 30 weeks, just these simple 4 things, and saved that money, can you imagine the money that you're saving at the end of that time? We worked out that you could actually buy yourself a Cook Expert in 30 weeks for the money that you would save. So it's absolutely the best thing to be doing everything yourself. We are here to give you tips and hints and tricks and things to be able to get you baking and get you doing all those beautiful things in the kitchen. I've loved having you here today. I've loved that you've all joined me. As soon as I hear that doorbell ring, I'll know that the neighbours know I'm finished, and they'll be in for some beautiful scrolls and quiche and stew and stir fry and all those beautiful things that we've made today. So thank you for joining us. You've seen what we've done in 45 minutes. It doesn't take long to eat healthy. It doesn't take long to eat cheaper meals by doing them yourselves. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you got something out of today. Bye for now.